Hello and welcome along to the West Wales Karting Virtual Racing Project Cars 2 race here today, and it's round 5 race 2 at Willow Springs of the PS4 Clio Cup Championship. And as you can see, the 2.49 mile line turn circuit, the full layout here at Willow Springs, we're going to be racing at, and it's going to be at night as well. And after race 1 here, where we had some fantastic battles to watch out for, I think we can expect more of the same in the night time, although it's going to be quite hard for the drivers to pick their braking points. And it's Stuart Davis who's leading the championship very narrowly from Dan Holloway, and he starts ahead of his title rival here today, but only in 3rd place after Del Boy won the last race. So it's going to be him starting from pole position ahead of Spitfire. A great battle between those two. Stuart, then Monty MC Momo still in the championship hunt as well in 5th ahead of Dan Holloway. Alex Brown and Welsh Taft, you can expect some carnage from those two as well. And they're on the grid now at night time waiting for the start, and it's go here. Oh, and what's Del Boy doing? He's found reverse. And he's smashed into a couple of his rivals there. I think Welsh Taft was involved. Oh, that's unbelievable, that. And now into turn 1, that's Stuart Davis. A great start from him. Slots into 2nd behind Spitfire. And I don't know what happened there. Monty MC Momo now in 3rd. Alex Brown, as ever, makes a great start up to 4th ahead of Dan Holloway. And Welsh Taff and Del Boy all the way back down in 7th. I have no idea what happened there, Alex.
You have to imagine it's a controller issue, or he wanted to surprise the pack. Not sure, but that's really not going to help him, as he's really falling behind now with 25 seconds. Looks like he's just getting off the line up in the distance there. But that's
a terrible shame for Del Boy. He's had some rotten luck in this championship, it has to be said, at times. Through no fault of his own, and he won the last race. It looked like he turned the corner, and now he's going backwards. So on earth? I mean, I think it always helps, doesn't it, to be going forward?
Yeah, especially in a race where you're only meant to go one way. But like you said, he's had some rotten luck, especially at Cadwell, where he went exploring across the grass. But as you see, Monty and Stu battling away. Hopefully they won't end in tears like the first race, where they both went off barrel rolling after the first corner. But looks like they learnt their lesson and taking it a bit easier this one, as someone went wide there. Looks like Alex Brown. Yeah, Alex Brown, who's down to 5th now.
Yeah, very easy to do in that long sweeping right-hander. That's the last corner of this circuit, and yeah, just ran a little bit wide and off on the grass and handed the position there to Dan Holloway. And now we've got battle for 2nd. Look, Stuart Davis and Monty MC Momo going down the inside in that purple machine, and as he found a way through there, Stuart's giving him room on the inside, and you've got Dan Holloway there swarming around in the background, waiting to pick off any scraps here in the blue and yellow car. And they're still staying with Spitfire. Spitfire's managed to get a few car lengths. And look, Monty down the inside of Stuart now. Oh, and they collide. They're trading paint. And Stuart's going to have the inside line for the next bit. And Monty's going to be on the outside. Is Dan Holloway going to be wise to that? Is he going to follow through? He's going to try and follow through, but he doesn't quite. And Stuart Davis stays ahead of the lot of them. And now Monty, look, is having another run at Stuart. Stuart goes very defensive indeed, and runs a little bit wide, and now coming onto the back straight here. Looks like Stuart's got a bit of a poor run, and Monty knows it. He's going to be all over him now, like a rash coming down into the last corner.
Yeah, those two really need to be careful, especially with Dan lurking just behind them. He's probably hoping for them to just tag each other, just slow each other down, or have another crash, and he can go through to 2nd, and that's really not going to help Stu, who's only just gained the championship lead by 2 points. So he's really going to have to be careful, and going wide, as Dan does as well, isn't going to help him at all, as Dan flashes lights down them to get on with it and try and crash. But these three are so close going into the first corner.
Yeah, great battle. Oh, Monty down the inside. Oh, onto the curb though. Really unsettles the car, and he clips Stewart's as well, as Stewart manages to hold the slide and stays there in 2nd. And Monty MC Momo still in 3rd. Dan Holloway still in 4th. And Monty there in the middle, is in that awkward position where he has to attack and defend at the same time. But like you were saying, Al, yeah, Dan is going to be, and Stuart as well, they're both going to be thinking of the championship here. Stuart might be better off just letting it with Monty through and off the road after Spitfire there, because Spitfire's really getting away now. And Stuart's main concern will be Dan Holloway. Monty hasn't got as much to lose as Stuart has in the championship.
Yes, as Dan goes really wide there, I wonder where he's off. He's lost a bucket 4 times, so that's going to help Stu and Monty, but he'll be back on their tail, especially with the way that those two are battling. You'd have to think their best bet is just calm down for a bit and really go for the leader, which it looks like they might be doing for now, as they've sort of gapped each other a bit, and now Stu's under a second and Monty's not too far behind it, just over a second, so could be interesting if they do catch the leader up.
Yeah, it could be, and they are actually catching Spitfire ever so slightly here. Look, you can see that gap now, 8/10 to the leader there from Stewart now, and look, Monty's had a really good run here. He's really in the slipstream. Is he going to dive it down the inside? He got on the curb last time and really unsettled the car. Can he avoid the curb and avoid Stewart as well? And it's a very fast turn one. Stewart did see him going for the dive, left him a bit of room, and they managed to both get through there okay and still in the same positions. Dan Holloway now is playing catch up, and that's Alex Brown off in the background, I think, as well. He's still ahead of Welsh Taff, and Delboy is... I think we've lost Delboy from the race, you know.
Yeah, it might have definitely been a controller issue, so he's just retired the car, which is really unfortunate, as he had a really good first race here. So that's just, his bad luck continues. As Monty now looking around the outside, which is definitely a viable move, because you get the inside from the next corner, but Stu will be wise to that. But Monty's stuck his nose in, and he obviously can't block him off like that, but no, Stu keeps the place, but Monty's really lost momentum there, and that's allowed Dan to go all over the back of him.
Yeah, it's funny how momentum swings one way and the next in motor racing, and it's no different when you're racing virtually as well. Monty there had all the momentum with him, attacking Stewart, really had Stewart there by the scruff of the neck and trying to force an error, and it's very easy to make an error by yourself, and that's what's happened. And now he himself is under pressure, and Dan Holloway sticking his nose on the inside, sideways, and just about avoids him. Very impressive car control, and he's fourth now, really putting Monty under pressure, and that's what you have to do when you're a driver, isn't it? You have to deal with dishing out pressure and then suddenly having the pressure all on you again.
Yeah, some great car control there. It's almost like rally driving, but Stu and Dan will have had some great practice around here, as they took part in the Xbox Endurance Championship in the touring cars in the LMP1, so they really know this track. But this group's really closed up again, but that's allowed Spitfire to pull a second lead now, so he'll be quite happy.
Yeah, absolutely, he really is ever so slightly.
Stu wide.
Look, Stewart really wide now. And he's given up the position. And now it's Dan Holloway down the inside of Stewart, the two championship lead contenders. And Dan now breaks himself, goes a little bit wide, back onto the grass, sandy bit that he found himself on before. Monty now says, thank you, I'll take second place, and I'll try and chase after Spitfire if I can. Stewart's going to be absolutely gutted he made that mistake. But at least for his sake, he stayed ahead of Dan Holloway there. But really good opportunistic driving by Monty, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a brilliant bit of opportunistic driving. Dan's a bit lucky, they just pushed it a bit too hard trying to get the drive out the corner, and it's just understeered onto... I have to guess it's grass. It kind of looks like it's in the middle of a desert, this track. But that's really not going to help him. But he's all over the back of Stu now. Monty and Dan seem to really get a good exit out of that final corner, where Stu just seems to lose a bit of pace on them, as I saw in the last few laps when Monty was all over the back of Stu. But it should be interesting now to see if Monty can really push to catch Spitfire and reel him back into this group for a four-way fight, which would be brilliant to watch.
Certainly would be, and we're over halfway through this race now, of course, so 15-minute races, and so a few more laps left to run in this one. Plenty can still happen, and look, it just shows we talked about it in the last race, the camber changes here really can work to your advantage or your disadvantage. You really have to nail these corners right, haven't you? Don't want to get over that curb though, like Dan Holloway did, but you can see how hard he's pushing and how hard Stewart is pushing too, kicking up a bit of the sandy, grassy bit there. 2 wheels from Dan Holloway. I think we're going to have to call that corner after Dan. He's seems to be all over the place through there.
Yeah, he's really hitting everything but the apex through that corner. But I don't know if the camera's being generous, but you can just see how dark it is as well. So the only thing illuminating the track is the lights, so it's properly hard going at the moment, especially with the temperatures being so cold, so the tyres will most likely be cold, as well as relying on your lights, trusting the other drivers as well. But you see those poor few corners drop down back quite a bit.
Yeah, what's quite interesting actually is even with the slightly colder tyres, might actually be helping the drivers here, because we did see some overheating, didn't we, in the last one? especially these really long corners with the cars drifting, like you can see from Alex Brown there, going around the last corner. The times are actually a little bit quicker in this race than they were in the first race, only by a bit, mind.
Yeah, it shows the tyres are lasting quite a bit longer than the first race, just from the cooler temperatures. Is Delboy still going? Says we're watching him, but you have to imagine he's in the pits or he's off the track where you just can't quite see him. But
yeah,
you got Spitfire coming up now into this funny little left-right into the main braking point, which is the hairpin as the top 4 go through now.
Yeah, and then down to this little tricky corner as well, where you can't really touch the curbs and you have to kind of avoid the apex almost, don't you, to get the best run out of there. So it's a bit of a weird corner. But Spitfire's got this race under control at the moment, but you can see the top 4 all in the same shot there. They're all driving absolutely flat out as hard as they can, waiting until one of them cracks. And I think inevitably one of them will crack eventually, because they are pushing so hard. Stuart Davis and Dan Holloway have the championship to think about. Spitfire missed a couple of rounds. He's just out there for himself to try and get as many race wins as he can. He almost got the one from Delboy the last time out, but after a great battle he finished second, but he's really got the bit between his teeth here. Monty MC Momo is playing catch up in the championship. He needs all the points that he can, so they're all out there for different reasons, pushing as hard as they can. And the 2 championship leaders find themselves in 3rd and 4th, so it's just what we want, really, isn't it, for a good race?
Yeah, definitely. You just have to hopefully close up in the last few laps and really give it a go. There's Stu taking a wider line there compared to Dan, whether it helps his exits going tighter towards the backside of it. As looks like Delboy is now just a cameraman for the rest of this race. As they all go through, and it's quite a nice corner, but you've really got to get it right, as Stu doesn't. He's climbing all over the curbs there. There's jump back to Alex Brown, who's quite close to Welsh Taff. I haven't really seen these two in the race, but all the action's up front. But yeah, they're very evenly matched, these two, both almost identical lap times like last one, so just shows how close they are.
Yeah, really pushing hard as well. You can see Welsh Taff really pushing hard coming up the hill there, and Delboy did a great job to capture that as well, the cameraman there. Coming up the hill, poor Delboy. But anyway, at least he's still giving us entertainment, even though he's out of this race. But yeah, Welsh Taff really pushing hard to try and catch Alex Brown, and I think he'd be quite happy to overtake him as well if he could, after what happened at lap 1 on race 1 here in the daytime, where they had a bit of a coming together. Riding on board with Dan Holloway now, back at the sharp end of the field. He's still chasing Stewart, falling back a little bit now though, look. And yeah, it's just a bit too much clear air between these 4, isn't it? It's a bit of a shame, because you can see how hard they're pushing, but they're just not close enough to each other to actually have a go and have some side-by-side action, which is what we want to see. Yeah,
he had an awful exit on the last corner there. He was fully sideways and the car just bogged as we saw Welsh Taff come rejoining. He went very wide and has lost his momentum to Alex. Something must have happened there, like clipped the grass and just went off. So that's unfortunate to him, as he was really getting some pace. But I say Dan was fully committed into that corner and just lost the back of it, and it just shows how imperative it is you really get the lines right and keep your momentum flowing. Otherwise, you're just going to lose out big time. And he's now 2 seconds off of Stu.
Yeah, certainly. He's as soon as you make a mistake like that, with the drivers being so evenly matched and with so few braking points in a way too on the circuit, it's really hard to make that time back up again, even with a couple of laps to go and everyone pushing. Oh, what was that? Somebody is relocating, doing a bit of TARDIS work. I think it's Monty MC Momo again, doing a Doctor Who impression.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's Willow Springs glitches. Seems every time we race here, whether it's Xbox or PlayStation, it goes a bit funny.
Yeah, it's going a bit funny again now for Monty. We can only hope that he's not going to be out of the race here. Oh dear, it does look like he's out of the race, because now it's all gone dark on him.
Yeah, maybe it really is the TARDIS. He's going back to second now, but he's saying he's down to 6th, so that's really unfortunate if it has glitched here.
It does seem that he's flying in the night sky now as Monty in the purple machine, and very sad for him. He was having a great race up there in second, some really good points he would have got, but now instead he joins Del Boy as a cameraman on the sidelines. Very, very sad indeed for Monty. But Stewart now really pushing hard. He's inherited second. Dan Holloway's inherited third. So although it's a shame for Monty, these two won't mind at all, will they?
No, they'll be quite glad, but Stu probably hoping Monty was still there and just glitched back up to third. That would have really helped him. But yeah, that's really unfortunate for him, but that's promoted Alex and Welsh Taff up to fourth and fifth, so I think that's their best finishes of the season so far.
Yeah, I do believe it will be. Alex has often found himself up in the top 4 or 3 even, hasn't he, in some races, but that's only been on lap 1 and then he seems to have fallen back there. But he does get fantastic starts and then just have the outright pace sometimes. But yeah, 4th place would be a great return for Alex Brown there in the championship. Of course, we haven't got Pick Z in this race, have we, today? I think he's been battling with Alex sometimes.
Yeah, he's been in the mix as well. I think there's a couple of drivers that aren't here. Pixie and Cortez has sometimes raced with them. I don't think he's here either. So it's just the main championship contenders at the moment battling up front. And as I said, it's really unfortunate about Monty and Delvoy, but there's always the next few races to battle back and try and gain points. They still gain points even if they don't finish in 6th and 7th, which is still good, but it's not what they would have wanted. They probably would have wanted at least a podium, you'd have to imagine, after the first race.
Yeah, well, they both had the pace for podiums, didn't they, here today at this event, so it'll be a real big shame for them. And it does kind of, although not mathematically, it does realistically put them out of the championship hunt, even though, Monty and Delboy, they were 3rd and 4th, weren't they, in the championship heading into this round. And now it looks like they're going to lose a lot of ground to Stuart Davis and Dan Holloway. But the man today is Spitfire, and he's coming around the last corner now in that green machine. And as long as we don't see any more glitches here at Willow Springs, he heads out the last corner, power slides it through, and he kicks up the dirt in celebration. And he comes across the line now to take the win here in the round 5 race 2 of the Clio Cup Championship. And you can see how much it means to him as well. Really good drive by Spitfire, absolutely dominated that race, had the pace all the way through. Stuart Davis then inherits 2nd after Monty retires, and Dan Holloway there in 3rd. The two championship rivals coming home quite close together in 2nd and 3rd. Alex Brown as well for his best finish of the season, as you said, Alex, there in 4th. He's going to get 4th, coming out the last corner. Great driving, just ahead of Welsh Taff. Welsh Taff must know what the back of Alex Brown's car looks like a lot after this race and the last one. And like we said, the two cameramen, Monty, MC Momo and Delboy, will be finishing 6th and 7th. Well, getting the points for 6th and 7th places. But bit of an anticlimactic race, that one, Alex.
Yeah, especially after the first one being so close, but it's just a bit unfortunate with the glitches. But you see Stu's still in the championship lead there by only 5 points, so it's really close between the two. But like you said, you have to imagine Delboy and Monty after that one will be a bit too far off now, you'd have to imagine.
Yeah, probably, but you never know what can happen in this championship, so join us for the next one.